So the only ritual I can think of that I do quite frequently, so I'm an avid D&D player, and so when I go and pick up a new set of dice, I usually spend anywhere, depending on the dice themselves, 5 to 10 minutes trying to roll out all the ones, trying to get all the bad luck out of them, trying to get them to be the best dice they can be going forward. And yeah, that's probably the only ritual that I know that I do on a consistent basis.
So one of the rituals I have is in the morning. I do 3 separate kind of journaling prompts. The first one is a spirit animal deck. So I pull a spirit animal and just kind of journal on what it makes me think of that morning. I do a poetry reading. Currently I'm reading Young Pueblo's book. And the last one I do is the Daily Stoic, which is a prompt from the lens of Stoicism. So it's a quote about a specific Stoic and then a prompt, and I journal on that too. So it kind of gets my brain going in the day, helps me set my intentions.
When I have something that I need to let go of, I write those emotions or that event or those certain expectations on pieces of paper. And then I take a glass bowl and I burn those things to let go of them. And then I write down things that I'm trying to step into or things that I'm trying to embody, things that I want in my life more of. And then I burn those in that bowl as well. Yeah.
So my ritual, since I work from home for myself, a whole day can go by where I don't even go outside or see a human in real life. So what I like to do is get out, take a walk in the park, usually around 2 p.m. every day. If I don't get outside in nature before 2, I get grumpy. So I'll go for a walk, and during that time, I'll try to work on cultivating whatever feeling I want more of in my life. So it might just be feeling gratitude and feeling that as I'm looking around and just enjoying the park, or it might be thinking about something that I'm working for in my business and feeling like that's already done and accomplished, and the good feeling that comes with that. So then I can bring that good feeling into my work, and that just makes things lovely.
I'm Jose, and my ritual is that I walk the dog twice a day. It provides a break for a lot of the online work I do, and that way I get to take a break, get some fresh air, think about the stuff that I'm doing, and then come back and just continue doing and working on online stuff, but a little offline break in the middle.
Everybody give it up for Leah.
My name is Leah. I've never used a microphone, I don't think, before, so bear with me. My assistant's pulling up right now. He's late. So I guess the ritual that I was going to share with you is about nature. It's a little nature-based. I keep all my plans in my phone, in my iCal on my phone. But I wanted to this year notice things in nature every day and make a note of them. And so this year I decided to get another planner that has no plans in it, but is where I write down things I notice, like maybe I saw a bird that I don't usually see, or a cool bug in my yard, or the moon rising. And so that is my new ritual. And so in the morning I go outside before I look at in my phone, before I even make tea, when my brain is still not quite awake and colors might be kind of fuzzy. And so I go outside right away. Most days I try to do this, not every day, and just sit and see what I notice. And it has been a really nice ritual because it has also kind of helped me notice things more. So they kind of starting the ritual has helped the ritual grow, I guess. And yeah, that's what I'm doing. So.
Thank you very much. One ritual I thought about, I don't really even know why or how this started, but in my house, I have 4 kids, and I make waffles on Sunday morning, and I always play the album Low Country by this band called The Sword. They're sort of like a stoner
metal, yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
Metal waffles.
But Low Country is like an acoustic version of this one album. Oh. And I love the album, but I played it once and I was like, all right, this is what we do every time we make waffles now. So we've been doing it for 10 years. So it's the waffle album in my house now.
Cool.
Yeah.
Amanda Gold. Amanda Gold, you were up next, number 2.
Hello, good morning. This is so fun that we get to be the first group in the park together. I love being outside with you all. My name is Amanda, and I have probably 40-some tarot or oracle decks, and I've loved incorporating tarot and oracle into all kinds of rituals, even in my business. I'm a life coach, and so I'll pull cards with clients a lot of the times, and actually that's how I first started my business, was tarot-inspired coaching. And so I have a really favorite kind of business-oriented deck that seems to be right on time for if I'm thinking about a new project or if I'm feeling stuck somewhere or stymied. So I thought I would share it with you all, and we could practice some collective mojo sending and pull a card for the group. And hopefully it has something that can carry you through your day. And you might also, when we're doing this, if this is your jam, you might like to think about anything you feel stuck with or anything you want to create. If you want to unblock your creativity a little bit, we'll pull a card together that will hopefully help you and inspire you in that. So I'm going to put this down while I shuffle. And if you want to just take a moment to see if you can get like 10% more comfortable than how you are now. And let's all take a breath together. We'll go in through our noses together on 3. So 1, 2, 3. And then just let go of any tension that you've brought in so far today. It's early, but we still might have some lingering commute stuff or discussions with partner or cats that threw up on the rug. We don't know. So just center yourself and I will shuffle and send your vibes and energy and we'll pull a card together. Oh, we have a jumper. That was fast. You guys are strong. The force is strong with these ones. So this is an empowered state of being, which is radiate. So it says, be prepared. Get ready for big changes. Call forth your inner organizer. Things are about to take off. Doing what you can now to prepare for these changes is smart. No need to stress. Focus on finding ways to support yourself, including systems for the back end of the business. Expect good things.
Thank you, Amanda. Next, we have Stacy.
I am going to go totally away from what you said with the daily ritual, and I'm going to talk about a quarterly ritual which I have, which is mind mapping, which if you remember back when you were in school, you would make a plotting map where you'd have to read a book or a short story and you'd have a little circle with the main character and the things that happened and the characters, and it would just go off and off, and it looked a lot like a spider web, and then you'd get really bored and you'd start coloring in and you would trail off. I have come up with a ritual that I didn't realize was a ritual until a couple of years ago, which is every quarter or so seasonally or a birthday, the new year, I sit down and I put myself in the middle, and then I go out from there and I look at what is my family life like, what is my creative life like, what is work life like. And, you know, sometimes it looks like a circle with radiating lines out of it, and sometimes it's a tree, and sometimes it's something else. But because when I was a kid, I was a doodler in school, not only do I put in the words that I think of, but then I get to take a week or so instead of journaling or whatever other thing I would normally be doing, instead of start coloring and doodling it. And as I'm doing that, instead of thinking about, oh, what I'm going to do later today, I think about the section I'm working on. I choose my colors. I have bright, silly markers. They're not waterproof, so like my fingers always, I'm like licking a finger and smearing something. But the whole idea in the ritual is to sort of reassess. And it's pretty often, what are you doing? What's important to you? How is what is right now going on actually feeding or taking away from what you want to be doing? So my ritual is, you know, a lot of coffee, not a lot of wine. It doesn't work well with wine, but coffee, and, you know, sometimes it's at Clear Creek over in Prospect Park. Sometimes it's on a mountain. Sometimes it's in a coffee shop or someplace like this. Not at home. Too many cats sitting on paper. But it's I feel like it's a really good ritual to bring me back to to having a purpose and to stepping away from just like, oh, life goes on and on and on, and saying, hey, life is going on, but am I keeping track of these things? So that is my ritual.
Tess Cohen. Tess, welcome to the rug.
The ritual that I wanted to share with y'all is I have for many years now done, and I love people that have been talking about these things of not just daily, but also seasonally. And I have a annual ritual that I call a reset weekend, where I take a couple days, go out into nature, and take time to really disconnect from day to day in order to reconnect with self. And so it is a time, it's usually 2 full days. And so the first day is really all about looking back at the previous year and like, what was amazing? What was not so amazing? I'm probably going to insert the bowl ritual into that in December. So thank you. And so yeah, just really like gleaning all of the learnings and the wisdom from that year. And then day 2 is all about looking ahead and what are the intentions that I want to set. And it has just been one of the most grounding, beautiful exercises or experiences. And then I also I include little micro rituals within it of like opening and closing rituals. And usually there's almost always time going to hot springs because I'm a big hot springs fan. And I think there is something cleansing to that as well. And then the other thing that I have been meaning to do for years and am just now doing, and I also highly recommend it, found out about it from Creative Mornings. If anybody's familiar with Wendy Whitus and the concept of a PRD, personal retreat day, and also as somebody that works by myself and for myself and has a shit ton of flexibility, and I'm like, wait, I do this thing annually. Why am I not doing this thing monthly? Which is, you take a day. I've been doing last Friday of the month. And so it's kind of like a mini of the retreat, the annual thing. So again, I really try in my PRDs to have time for movement, time for stillness, time for looking back, time for some dedicated work time to focus on something that I just haven't had the brain space to really do some deep work on. And then also time to treat myself. So like go out, take myself out for lunch or get a massage or something like that. So those 2 practices, especially as creative business owners, I just cannot recommend enough, but also for anybody. And then the last thing I'll share, I could just keep on sharing all the things. But last thing, I have, and it was inspired by RJ sharing about the pancake or whatever y'all are doing, waffles. I have recently started dating a gentleman who makes blueberry pancakes every weekend, Saturday and Sunday. And I am so fucking inspired by it because I'm like, it's one thing to do it once a weekend. Like already that is rad and amazing. But the fact that he does it every Saturday and Sunday, I'm like, hell yeah, Billy, you do that. And I am so here for it. And for as long as we end up hanging out for, I'm here for it and encourage you to do, like, treat yourself Saturday and Sunday.
All right, we'll move on then to Rachel. Rachel Bogan, please join us on the rug.
Hello, everybody. It's good to see you. I haven't been to a Creative Morning since her 10-year birthday last year, so the fact that I'm here and then I'm up front, I'm like, oh, well, yeah, that sounds kind of typical. So in my world, there are 3 questions that I always ask. One of them, I'm sure you're familiar with, have you seen my phone? The other one is, hey, have you seen my chapstick? And the third one is, have you seen my pen? Now, this is a very particular pen. This is a Pentel Energel liquid gel ink. It is a 0.7 gel tip, and I've been using this pen for 25 years. Now, not this particular pen. I buy these barrels, like the pens, by the dozen, and I buy the refills by the dozen. And when I run out of barrels, because I have indeed lost them all, because where's my pen, I will buy 12 more, and I will continue to use them. I've had this one. This one has lasted me, I think, 8 years now, which is amazing. It's like my last one. And this pen has seen me through a lot. I've used it to process family trauma. I've used it to tally up budgets. I've used it to work on major business decisions. I have done so much with this pen. Now, If you give me any other pen, I do not care what it is. It does not matter what it is. I will not use it. I am a pen snob, and anybody who is a pen snob knows exactly what I'm talking about. I see a hand back there. Yes. Yes. When you're a pen snob, it's the pen or no other pen. This is my ritual. I have this pen with me every day. If I do not have it with me, I'm as lost as if I do not have my phone or my chapstick. That's my ritual.
Anna, welcome to the rug.
Thank you. So my ritual also has to do with journaling. So I've journaled for a long time, but it's always been very angsty. I've been like, okay, if my great-grandchildren find this journal, they're going to think I was really unhappy. And so I was thinking about, how could I make a journal practice that's more productive and serves me in a positive way? Not that being angsty doesn't, but just a different one. And so I found this, it's called the 5-minute journal. I don't know if anyone's heard of it, but there's like kind of a nighttime prompt and a daytime prompt. I do them both in the morning because I'm not dependable at night. But the ones that I first do are from the previous day. What's something that I learned today, and the highlight of today. And then the ones that I do to kind of get ready for the day ahead are three gratitudes. That's not groundbreaking, but it always changes my mindset more than I would think. And then some things that I could do to make today good. And at first I didn't really get that one, but that one's all about like, what are just the little things like drinking a lot of water or calling my mom or something that could take today from meh to a little better. And then the last one is affirmations. So writing down your affirmations for the day, and I change those all the time. So that's what I do in the morning before contributing to capitalism.
Yvonne. Yvonne? Is it Yvonne or Ivan? Ivan, really? Okay, all right.
It was supposed to be Ivan, but they didn't put the accent mark. Hi, I'm Ivan or Ivan. There are 2 rituals that I want to mention. One, my wife and I, after college, moved to Boston, didn't know anyone. We had grown up in a really small, tight-knit religious community. We were very religious at the time. And moving from that sort of community to a place where we didn't know anyone and where we maybe didn't know how to relate to other people who weren't of faith, took us a while. We didn't know how to make friends. We didn't know what to talk to friends about. It was a challenge. Things drifted for us over time, and with one good friend we had met at our then former church, we started a ritual of a weekly dinner gathering that was sort of inspired by the traditions of our faith. We would gather, we would talk about what was hard about our weeks, what was good about our weeks, and what was coming up in the next week. And that was a thing we felt comfortable inviting people to, and a thing where we started to feel a lot of community, and it became this community ritual that helped us find friends and helped us develop deep friendships that then grew on to other things, grew into a lot of things, and I'm really grateful for what that did. But I will mention the second ritual that in a lot of ways prompted. One of our good friends from that group was going to be traveling somewhere for the summer, and we wanted to see his photos, but we weren't on Instagram, and we didn't want to get on Instagram just to see his photos, so we tried to convince him to come back and show us pictures of his summer. Another friend thought that would be interesting to do as well, and we were like, let's make a show about it. Then that first friend suggested we call that show Summary, and that is a perfect name. And so we've done that now as a big collective ritual, much larger size than the dinner parties. Done that now for 6 or 7 years. It's always on the very last day of summer, which is a date everyone knows. It's inconvenient sometimes because it's midweek, but it is on a Sunday this year. And we have just so deeply valued having these 2 types of rituals. There are many like them in our lives now around community, but these small, intimate contexts of sharing, and then these more sort of public presentation type events. And if you are interested in talking about your summer or events at all, I'd be happy to talk to you about how that has brought meaning to your life. It's brought a lot to mine. Thank you.
Thank you. So that's the end of our list. Has anyone been inspired to throw something else? Yes, come on up, please.
Hi, how's it going, everyone? My name is Jose, first time here, but I'm really excited to continue coming. One thing that I've been doing for the past year is 5 days with no internet. So, it can be daunting, but if you really think about it, it's just Friday to Tuesday, on maybe a long weekend or something like that, you can get to disconnect. But it's been very transformative for me because there's a lot of things online that demand our attention and produce a lot of stress. And during the past 12 months, I've been doing it for 5 days per month. And it's less daunting once you prepare for it. Once you set up the auto reply and you say like, hey, I'm just out of the office for these days or whatever. But it's been really helpful for me. And it cost me a lot of stress in the beginning because you're like, I'm going to miss out. Or what if there's this work emergency, whatever. But over time, you just prepare for those things. You become more organized, which is something that I think I've always had issues with. So I could plan to continue doing it and maybe expanding it if possible. But I'm really excited. Hopefully that, gives you something to think about. It doesn't have to be 5 days. It can be just 1 day a week or 1 day a month, completely offline, read a book, do whatever you actually want to do. For me, this upcoming month, I'm going to learn how to make sourdough. So, we'll see. I think I'm late to the sourdough train, but that's okay. It's not that big of a deal. So there you go.
Thank you, Jose. Anybody else? Yes. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I also have 4 kids, and I think a lot not only about ritual for myself, but the role of ritual in modeling for my kids. I'm also an educator, so I think a lot about the best way to educate, which is not to tell, but to show. And so a ritual that we started this year with our family is on Wednesday nights, we do a family meeting, which is more a routine and not a ritual. But we also integrate we call it our gratitude jar. And so every Wednesday during part of the family meeting, each of my kids and I get a little sticky note and we write something for which we're grateful and or something great that happened this week. And the intent, again, this is our first year doing it. The goal is that at the end of the year on New Year's or New Year's Eve, we're going to read them all. And my kids are 8, 10, 12, and 14. And so the fewer guidelines, the better, because otherwise they'll resist. So some of them write their names, some of them write the dates, some of them write one word, some of them write a whole sentence. So I'm really excited about this ritual, both as a weekly way to show gratitude and to encourage my kids, my students. I'm also an educator, so my kids are my students, to integrate gratitude into their weekly practice. And then I think it'll also be this really meaningful ritual at the end of the year for us to celebrate together this beautiful year that we had and to remember the things that were small, but still meaningful.
Thank you. Awesome stuff. Yes. Step right up.
Hey, everybody. My name is Henry. Can you guys hear me okay? Cool. Well, it seems a lot of folks here like to journal, as do I. But as we probably all know, getting the ball rolling is a little hard sometimes, especially if you do it every day. So a practice that I've learned to incorporate is just thinking of any word that comes to mind. For instance, yesterday's was fence. And yeah, exactly. Doesn't have to be anything special. But to get that ball rolling, I think of a word, and I just try to think of a memory I have that surrounds that word. And I write about that memory. And then I kind of take a second to write about the memories that surround that memory. And for me, that just helps get the ball rolling. And yeah, that's what I do.
Excellent. Anybody else? Yes.
Hi, everybody. I'm Catherine. I'm not very good at rituals. I have ADHD, and I feel like I'm always like, ooh, shiny thing. I'm not going to do that ritual that I said I was going to do that I did for like 3 days. But there is one ritual that has stuck with me that is an old yogic tradition. I learned it from my teacher. And when I wake up every morning, it's very simple. Before I get out of bed, I just take 3 deep breaths. Actually, everyone can do it with me now, too, if you want to take 3 deep breaths. So first deep breath, you breathe in, and in your mind's eye, you say, I love myself, and breathe out. And then you take another deep breath in and say, I respect myself, and breathe out. And then you take another deep breath and you say, I trust myself, and breathe out. And then this is my favorite part. From there, as you're like sitting on your bed, you blow out of each nostril. So you blow out of your left nostril, test it. Blow out of your right nostril and test it. And you see which one is a little more clear, because you want to start your day off on the right foot. And so whichever one is more clear, step out of your bed with that foot and start your day off on the right foot. And that's the ritual.
Thank you. Anybody else? Anybody else? Yes. Oh, Sal. Yeah.
Okay, I was taken by surprise, but I'm motivated now. Thank you. And by the way, who was the burning ritual thing? You know, I just retired my business a few months ago, and that's a ritual. I have got papers from when I worked for the last 40 years, and there's a lot to burn, but thank you. I want to talk about two things, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. Every morning, I'm an early riser. I just get up at 6 or so. My wife sleeps till 9 or so. So the first thing I do in the morning after getting her coffee ready to brew is I usually burn some form of incense, and I sit with a book on my balcony and I read for about an hour. And that really and again, a similar observations earlier, before I even look at the phone, just take a look at just reading whatever I'm interested for that day with my incense burning, sitting on my deck and kind of looking at the city. Afternoons, I've gotten involved since retiring with I created an arts and beautification committee for the upper downtown area. And we're trying to turn upper downtown more into a neighborhood feel and an arts feel than a business feel. And actually, there's a new development plan, a downtown area map plan that has been developed by the city, and that is their goal, to turn the central downtown into more of a neighborhood district. And one of the things I'm trying to get done is to restore a lot of the art and architecture and tree canopy that's around the downtown area and create new art. So every afternoon, I've been going out and just picking a street and going down that street and observing what artworks are already there, what's in disrepair, and where we might be able to put new artworks. And that's my afternoon, too. So thank you.
Thank you, Sal. Anybody else? It looks like we may... we got new... Yes, step right up.
It's serious now that I'm up here. Oh, my goodness. Rituals. When I think about rituals, I think about them a little bit differently. I have a lot of routines, and I have a lot of things that are productive. I do the 5-minute journal every day. I learned that from Tim Ferriss. And I do morning pages, and I run every single day. And I do all these things that are productive. I listen to podcasts when I get ready every morning, and I always wash my face and use the toner or whatever. And so what ritual means to me isn't about these things that are productive. It's doing something with beautiful intention behind it, to be fully present in that moment. And one way I incorporate that into my everyday practice is with coffee. I know nobody's talked about coffee today, and I know a lot of us drink coffee every day. Yes. And so I drink coffee every day, and it changed. It used to be I used to make a Keurig coffee, and I flipped it over to selecting a single origin organic coffee, and I studied what regions coffee came from, and I like the coffee from Ethiopia the best, the Guji region of Ethiopia. They say that's the tree of life, is that coffee. And I get a washed variety from a different local coffee roaster. And in the morning, I put on my silk kimono robe, and I walk into the kitchen, and I grind my coffee every single day, and I smell the beans, grind them up. I put a V60 pour over thing, ceramic one over my cup, and I boil some water in the kettle. And I drip a little bit of water in the grounds, 23 grams of coffee grounds. And I wait about 30 seconds and it starts to do this little foam bloomy thing. And then I pour my water clockwise around the coffee beans, careful not to touch the water filter, to 370 grams of water. And then I sit there in the kitchen and I take some deep breaths and I smell it. And I wait for my coffee. And I, dump out my little V60 thing and I take my cup and I ruin it with a little half and half. And I sit down and I have my coffee. And it's nothing special, but it's putting this very specific intention into something special that's just for me. It's not for anything else. It's not productive. It's not going to make me smarter or more efficient or anything like that, more fit. It is simply for the sake of a beautiful cup of coffee. And to me, ritual is that. It's being incredibly present and intentional and making love to the moment. So I start each day like that.
That's a fantastic coffee ritual. I feel like pour over is the most connective way, the way to connect with your coffee the best. Anybody else? Anybody else? Yes, Mark, please join us on stage.
So as I'm listening to everybody talk about stuff, I realized that there's a ritual that I didn't think was a ritual until just this moment. So for the last 15 years, some friends and I have been doing a holiday that we invented every September called Tattoo and Sopapilla Day. Legitimately that simple. We eat sopapillas, we get tattoos. But it's the tattoo part that got me thinking about the ritual, because after a couple years in, we started looking at wedding registry and anniversary sort of categories. So we would start to develop friendship tattoos based around those categories. So if it was like gold and watch and paper, we would craft a tattoo around that. And so it would become a thing for anybody who wanted to participate. You could get a friendship tattoo with anybody else that day, all based around what year it was. And so it was kind of a thing that I didn't think about being a ritual, but until people started talking about stuff, it actually made sense that this is a thing that we have a lot of intention towards, and it is a thing that we share with a lot of people going forward to make sure that everyone is part of the experience. Oh, also, September 27th, if you guys want to join us, it's at Marion Street Tattoo. Come have sopapillas with us or get tattoos. It's up to you.
Thank you, Mark. Anybody else? Anybody else feeling inspired? Yes, come on up.
Hello. Again, everyone talked about journaling, and I also journal. And I also just like practicing my handwriting and kind of that special touch to things. And at the end of every year, I send holiday cards to friends and clients, and I wax seal them. And so, yeah, just the melting of the wax, the intention behind the seal, and it's always special just getting a handwritten letter from someone. So, yeah.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes.
So maybe this is going to be the closure. I'm Anna too. Hi. Does anybody know what COW, COW stands for? The abbreviation. It's a citizen of the world. And that's who I am. I'm Polish, German, married to a Dutch, lived in Romania, and now moved to Boulder. And I come for every Creative Mornings to Denver to be here. One ritual that I missed this morning, and I wonder who else is doing yoga. So, I mean, we did some breathing, but did you miss it because going to Creative Mornings? So this is one that I usually do, and there's thousands of other rituals from every country that I lived or I'm connected to. So I don't want to talk about all those rituals, but I thought we could do something energizing before we leave here, because laughing is something that connects us all, the same as creativity. So if you don't mind, if you don't want, stay down, but if not, just stand up, please. and we're doing some laughing yoga together. So I would like to ask you first to take some space so that you can spread your arms. And we're doing the eagle breath first. So I just put the microphone down and you just watch what I'm doing. Bring your hands together and now take a deep breath and open up your arms to the side. And exhale, bring your arms together. 2 more times. Inhale, exhale. On the last, inhale, exhale. Now I'm inviting you to copy my laughter. So inhale. Okay, let's bring our hands together. 1 more time. Inhale. Exhale. Bring your hands together. Last time. Bring your hands together and now laugh as much as you can when you open up your arms. Thank you.
Thank you. That seems like a fantastic note to leave on. What do you think?